What is reality? A question so fundamental yet so slippery it's haunted human minds for thousands of years. To answer it, we invent stories, our myths, our philosophies, our sciences. We test them, tweak them, throw some away, and hold tight to others. But the more we explore, the stranger the story gets. Sometimes so strange that we forget what we were trying to understand in the first place. Take, for example, the idea that nothing may be real at all, not in the way we usually think. Why do we keep coming back to this? Why do we struggle to define what's real? And what if we've been asking the wrong question all along? To dig into reality, we first examine the world around us. Trees, stones, our own bodies, solid, tangible things. The ancient Greeks thought these were made from basic elements, earth, water, air, fire, but that didn't hold up for long, so we looked deeper. We found cells, then molecules, then atoms, each layer revealing a world inside a world. Eventually we discovered particles so small they barely seemed to exist at all. And here's where things got weird. The closer we looked, the more reality started to blur. You see, to observe anything we need to interact with it, to touch it, literally or metaphorically. Even seeing is a form of touching. Light bounces off things and enters our eyes, but what happens when the thing we want to see is smaller than light itself? You can't just peek at it. You change it by trying. You shake the world just by asking a question. This is not just poetic, it's quantum. And quantum mechanics gave us a new idea. Maybe the building blocks of reality don't have fixed forms. Maybe they're not things at all. Maybe they're tendencies, probabilities, clouds of possibility that only become real when observed. What does that say about the universe? And more importantly, what does it say about us? To make sense of this fuzziness, physicists created a model, the point particle, an imaginary dot in space, with charge and mass but no size. It doesn't exist, but it works. It helps predict how matter behaves. It gave birth to incredible technologies and deep insights, all based on a fiction. But isn't that what humans do? We create useful fictions, not because they're true, but because they help us get closer to truth. The same can be said about many of our philosophical ideas. Now let's shift the lens. Let's talk about experience, the subjective side of reality. Philosophers from Descartes to Kant, from Buddha to Berkeley have asked, can we ever know the world beyond our mind? Is there a world out there at all? Or are we trapped in a simulation made of thoughts, language, and expectations? Your brain builds a model of the world. Not the world itself, but a useful, filtered version. Like a map, not the territory. So when you see a tree, you don't see the tree. You see your mind's translation of data. You see your version of reality. Now here's the catch. If all we ever interact with is our internal model of the world, what grounds reality? Do we need something real beneath it all? Or can reality be constructed from patterns of experience? This is where philosophy meets modern cognitive science, and where the story gets even more interesting. Some thinkers now argue that consciousness isn't just part of reality, it might be the fabric itself. Not a side effect of the brain, but the stage on which all experience plays out. This sounds radical, but think about it. Everything you've ever known, love, fear, pain, joy, time, color, has occurred inside your awareness. You have never touched the external world. You have only touched your idea of it. Does that mean reality is just a dream? Not quite. But maybe. It's more like a conversation. Between the mind and the mystery. Between what is and what we think is. Still, many philosophers insist. There is a reality out there, independent of us. And they might be right. But even if we one day find the true nature of it all, we will still be telling a story, a model, a useful fiction, a way to orient ourselves in the chaos. Just like the myth of the point particle, or the ancient idea of fire and air, these are stepping stones, not final answers. So maybe the question isn't, what is reality, but rather what kind of story helps us live, understand, and grow. Because stories shape perception, and perception in turn shapes our universe. Reality might not be a static thing waiting to be uncovered. It could be a process, fluid, strange, and unfinished. And that's okay, because in the end, we are not just discoverers of truth. We are creators of meaning, co-authors in the endless unfolding of existence. And maybe, just maybe, that is the most real thing of all. This video was supported by curious minds everywhere. Keep asking, keep wondering, and don't stop telling new stories until one day, hopefully, we'll get a little closer to the truth.